You are now listening to The Spark Chronicles.
What's going on?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of The Spark Chronicles.
The Spark Chronicles. My name is Troy Escarpetta.
And I'm Joe Montuma.
And our mission statement is to motivate ourselves and others by discussing relevant topics that spark success and change in our lives. So that's why we're doing a podcast
Listen,
here.
that needs repeated because that's our mission statement. That's
Yeah,
what
you're
we're
right.
about,
Let's
bro.
say it right. So this is why we're doing the podcast. This is why you're listening to us, because the goal is to motivate ourselves and others by discussing relevant topics that spark success and change in all of our lives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And basically, in layman's terms, that means we are in the process of teaching as we learn, or the more we learn, the more we'll help each other.
We're just having a conversation, and we're building others while we build ourselves. So,
Hey, man, that's perfect right there. Now, Troy, a little bit about yourself, man. Let the people know who we are, who you are, and what you're about.
Yeah, well, my name is Troy Escarpetta. Born and raised in Bronx, New York. I've been in Massachusetts for about 4 years now, and the way this even came about, by how me and Joe met each other, and basically just me wanting to motivate the people that's around me, and I just have that naturally to motivate. I believe it started in 2011 when I had my first sales job, and I remember, I never forget, I seen my first motivational video, and one of my sales trainers came and sat us down in front of the YouTube and said, "Watch this," and it was Les Brown.
Yeah,
You gotta be hungry.
Yeah,
Les
Les
Brown.
Brown.
And
Shout out to Les Brown.
Shout out to
by
Les
the
Brown.
way.
If you guys don't know who Les Brown is, man, go YouTube him. He is a world-renowned, one of the top motivational speakers in the world. But this is my first time seeing a motivational video. And I remember at the end of the video, I was like, I didn't know like stuff like that existed. Like I didn't know that was a thing that people did. So after that, I got obsessed with motivation. I mean, I never really got it from a lot of outside sources. So, once I see my first motivational video, it was amazing. Like it changed me, it helped me for that day. And I went online and started searching, and that became a lifestyle for me in regards to how I wanted to live. And, I needed it at the end of the day. It actually helped me, to see somebody else go over their story. So, yeah, man, growing up in the Bronx, I used to get into a lot of the wrong things, and I made a drastic life change in regards to the way I think and the way I carry myself. So I guess we'll get into a lot of that stuff in the future. But yeah, man, I'm just happy that we're here, and we going through this motivational thing. So that was my intro to motivation, and now me and Joe is here. So
Yeah, and myself, I'm Joseph Montuma, Joe Montuma. All my friends call me Joe. But anyways, I'm Haitian American, born in Haiti, raised here in the United States, moved everywhere. And I was in the military for a little bit. But how I got introduced to motivation, I think motivation was always around, but it wasn't nothing that I took serious. I've had, a few audio books and things like that, but I think when I really got started was when you and I met.
Right.
That was like a time that changed my life. We were at a sales job, telesales job, and I was down, and you're just like, yo, I see that you're in a negative spot, and we just started talking, and that's basically what got me started with this whole motivation thing. I've always fooled around with Periscope with my daughter. Shout out to my daughter, anyways.
That was dope.
Jocelyn Montuma. So we started doing that. Yeah, so a little bit about what we're about, man. We're about just elevating others, elevating ourselves to the next level and elevating others. And there's no better way, because we're not speaking from experience. We're speaking from, I'm in the trenches with you. I'm in the journey with you. These are some of the things that I've tried out. These are some things that I've read about. These are some things that have worked for me or have worked for others. Let's do it together.
Let's build on that.
Exactly. This right here, this is a community thing. We want your feedback. We want you guys to hit us up, say, hey man, this is working. Or hey, help us out as we help you out. You know?
Or if you got topics or things like that you want us to get into, we would definitely be able to do it. I mean, like Joe said, we motivation and watching other people and listening to other people who have done what we're trying to do or who have, expertise or knowledge in a certain situation, it helps us immensely. So, we want to be able to give back, do the same thing, and have these motivational conversations as well. So that's the goal. Again, to motivate ourselves and others by discussing relevant topics that spark success and change in your life, in your mindset, in your business, in your family life, in your spiritual life, and everything. So
absolutely. And you know what? The first topic, man, that we're going to talk about with this podcast is mastery. That's the beginning to everything.
Mastery, the beginning and the end, huh?
The beginning and the end. And I want to pull up the dictionary version of what it says mastery is.
Okay.
Give me a quick second. Well, let me ask you, what do you think mastery is while I go ahead and pull it up?
Man, mastery to me is, pretty much just what it sounds like. It means just being at the top of your game. It means being an expert in your field. It means that you are the top 1%. It just means that, you're a very disciplined person. You took the time to get great, to get awesome, to get magnificent at whatever it is that you're doing. So mastery for me is, just what it sounds like,
Okay. Mastery to me is like, I think all of us have experienced, it's that time frame where you feel like there's nothing wrong. Like you're at your perfect point in time. Like you could do no wrong. You are the best you could be at that time. I remember when I was selling insurance, man, and I experienced this. It was my moment of mastery. Nobody could say no to me because I was pitching, for lack of better words. I was telling my customers the perfect thing.
At the perfect time.
Solving their perfect need, and everybody was like, yeah, sure, that's mastery. So how do we expand that time frame?
Yeah, and I think it's not like an ending point as well. When we say beginning at the end, it's just like what you mean in your mind. But mastery is something that is ongoing as far as staying a master at whatever it is that you're doing. You can tell when you've been doing something for a while and you feel that you become a master at it just because your swag is different, your aura is different, the way you talk, the way you move. Yeah. People look at you like, oh, you're doing it. It's definitely, a great thing to study and to chase mastery in whatever it is that you're doing. So I think that's a great topic for us to touch and, sell people on why they should study and want to be a master of whatever they do.
Yeah. And just a mental image. Mastery is Jordan in his prime. Mastery is LeBron Game 6.
Yeah.
That's mastery. Like I'm not losing.
Yeah.
Mastery is Michael Phelps in that pool.
Michael Phelps in that water.
Yeah. So
Michael Phelps in the water is Steve Jobs. When he's creating an iPhone, it's Thomas Edison, it's all of these different people when they I won't say at their peak, but when they reach their peak and they continue to move forward. So, I think it's definitely a topic worth talking about, mastery. So
let's get into it, my man. Mastery, the dictionary version. I just Googled it. It says comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment.
So comprehensive knowledge. Let's get into that. I mean, comprehensive knowledge is not just, I skimmed through this or I've been studying this for a little bit, because they say, really to become a master, you got to put in about 10,000 hours. So don't take that lightly. When it says comprehensive knowledge, that's comprehensive knowledge. That's you studied, you've immersed yourself, you've drained yourself in whatever it is. So comprehensive knowledge is a huge term in the definition of mastery. You know what I mean?
The second version is control, superiority over someone or something. And you and I, we had a debate about this. Like, I honestly feel like
I don't like that second. I don't like that. That's a different kind of mastery.
Yeah, well, it's talking about people, but
right.
If you think about it as in your profession,
yep.
You know, if you have control or superiority in your sector,
right.
You know,
So
Grant Cardone says it best. Like he says, "Do not compete, dominate." That's mastery.
Right. No, that's right. The only reason I don't like that part of the definition because it says over people, and I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I want to dominate my field, my sector, whatever I'm doing. But you know, it's like a self thing rather than over other people. So
right. That's
you
true.
know, but definitely dominating your field and you know, pushing forward in regards to being a master at what it is you do. So I like the first definition better. What's the first definition again? Read that for me.
First definition
We're gonna run
is
with that.
comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Getting to a level of mastery, and it's putting the mirror back on yourself and saying, how can I be the best me? How can I do what I do the best? What do I have to do? How do I get that? So let's go over maybe some keys to mastery and how people can achieve and you know get to that mastery point.
And the thing is, like, we broke down mastery, the mastery, 4 keys of mastery, four things that you have to master in order to master mastery. If that makes sense. It's a good play on words right there.
And I'm sure it's more, you know, but you know we're gonna go over these 4 and.
So the first one is know what you want to master, and that includes knowing your skills, your talent. That's asking yourself, like, what am I good at? What do I want to be good at? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do that doesn't take any effort? Those are the things that you need to focus on. If you are good at making people laugh, then you need to focus on mastering that. Because I believe that all of us are here for a purpose, man. All of us are here to perfect something. There's something that we're here that nobody else can do.
That's right.
Better than us.
That's right.
Right? We just need to pay attention to that and master that skill.
That's right.
So that's skill number 1. And we'll have a podcast about that. And number 2 is you need to decide. You need to say, okay, this is what I want to do. And commit.
And commit.
Right.
Make a decision.
Ownership, bro. Like I went to this conference and they talked about ownership and renting. Right? When you rent, you don't really care about the upkeep of the property. You know you're gonna leave someday. You know it's not yours, but when you own it, bro, you go outside and you shovel snow. You go outside and you cut the yard.
You treat that thing different.
You maintain that home. So ownership to whatever it is that you're trying to master. Don't let other people stop you from doing it. You own it.
That's a fact.
So that's number 2. Number 3 is become a slave to your craft.
Become a slave to your craft.
Yeah, you mentioned something about E.T., the hip hop preacher. Shout out to him.
Shout out Eric Thomas.
When he said something about honor
thy craft. Honor thy craft. And basically, you know, becoming a slave to your craft is, you know, it's once you figure out what it is that, okay, this is what the road I'm gonna go, this is what I want to master, and you actually decide, like make a wholehearted decision that this is what I'm gonna do, and you commit, then you become a slave to your craft. Then you put yourself in a position where this is killing all distractions. This is, you know, getting your 10,000 hours. This is basically what that is. I'm putting my 10,000 hours in to learn this. I'm gonna make a decision to master this thing right here. So I think, you know, this is one of the huge keys into mastery, because okay, once you figure it out, that's great. Once you decide and make that commitment, but now this is the action part. This is the putting in the work. This is the okay. I'm studying. I'm reading 1,000 books in this field. I'm you know, watching all the YouTube videos. I'm gonna buy a course. I'm gonna, you know, seek out a mentor. I'm gonna reach out to people who've done this before. This is what that is. This is becoming a slave to your craft and not letting anything get in your way of, you know, hitting that point, you know, because, you know, I tell you, man, if you don't become a slave to your craft, there's no way you will ever reach mastery.
Boom.
You know what I mean?
Boom.
So that's one of the things that I think, you know, is one of the key points. So like I said, it could be many keys to mastery. Yeah. But, you know, we just going through this order because we believe that it's one of the ways, one of the best ways to become a master.
And another example of that is when Michael Jordan, when he was on his high school basketball team, his coach didn't let him play for quite some time, right? Because even though he was still the best, he still had to show up on time. I'm reiterating the story. I'm not saying it verbatim, but basically his coach challenged him to show up for a whole season, show up early, practice, and maybe you might just make it on the team. And that's when he started like becoming a master at his craft. Is when he had nothing to gain, but he had nothing to lose but everything to gain. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody, sneakers is synonymous with Jordan. Greatness is synonymous with Jordan. But he had to go through all that. That's what that means to me, being a slave to your craft.
Yeah, and I think it's so much, you know, that we can talk about with Michael Jordan. We might have to do a whole nother podcast just on Michael Jordan. But, you know, that's a great point, you know, and, you know, it's so many examples that we can all the time, you know, the championship sports. We watch it all the time. So becoming a slave to your craft is one of the great keys that you need to do to get to mastery, baby.
And you can see that in everywhere, every profession, anybody that's ever become anything, like Jay-Z. You know, all these rappers out there, man, they said they had to put in time. You know, he was beatboxing on the table, on the kitchen table at his mom's house, and freestyling and wordplay and all that stuff, man. You got to put in that work.
He put in 10,000 hours.
That's what that means. Becoming a slave is putting in that work.
Maybe 100,000 hours.
We might just have to change that to putting in that work for some cats to understand. You know,
putting in the work, no, but I mean everybody says that. So when we say honor thy craft or become a slave to your craft, people understand. You know, it's a more broader picture, a more vivid picture for you. When we say become a slave to your craft, so that's number 3.
And number 4 is watch the throne, bro.
Watch the throne.
That's solid.
Speaking about Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z and Kanye. Like, you always have to be innovative. You always have to be creative, right? In order for you to stay on top, because cats is coming for you. Once you get there, that's
because everybody want to be successful. It ain't even that they coming for you. Everybody just want what you want. A lot of people want the same thing.
Right.
That's why it's only 1% of people who is successful. So when we say watch the throne, we talking about staying on your P's and Q's. This is when you get to mastery. When you feel like you are a master at what you're doing. It's how are you tuning your instrument. You know, is what are you doing to stay on top of your game? Because you know what they say, you know, when you reach the top, there's only one way to go. And that's down, right? So how you stay at the top? You got to constantly, you know, upgrade your mastery. You have to, once you get the mastery, it ain't, oh, I'm here, that's it.
You constantly keep upgrading yourself. Just like the phones, man. We receive, upgrades all the time. If you're not upgrading yourself, if you're not updating yourself, then
you ain't gonna be able to perform to the standards that you need to be to be a master. Somebody gonna pass you, you're gonna lose your mastery.
Exactly.
So you get the mastery, you gotta continue to do it. You know, it's all about continuous learning, reinventing yourself, still learning, continue to read books, continue to listen to podcasts, continue to, you know, talk to your mentor, continue to stay fresh in your subject. So those are just some of the great 4 keys that we're gonna be going over
Yeah, we're gonna be breaking it down. Each episode is gonna go over one of the keys. Some of the questions that we did come up with, because there's a whole lot of naysayers out there. It's like, yo, why should I become a slave to I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. First of all, comfort is a cousin of failure. I just want to put that out there.
And I don't talk to that cousin.
The more comfortable you get, the more likely you are to be passed. The more likely you are to just stay where you're at. So comfort is not something that we should seek. Our brain is wired to keep us comfortable, but our heart is wired to make us move forward. So sometimes you just gotta follow your heart. Some of the questions that we had is how does mastering anything benefit you? Like, why would you wanna try to master anything?
I mean, listen, man. Mastery is, and obviously we just went over. We gave you some great examples. We gave you, but to become a master, and be a master of what you are. There's so many benefits. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Well, one is you creating a legacy. You creating a legacy by becoming a master of whatever it is you do, because you're going to be known for that. You're going to stand out in your field. You're going to be a mentor to people. People will be able to come to you. You could change people's lives. You can make differences in people's lives by becoming a master at what you do. You'll be able to teach people. You'll be able to pour into people, and people could look at you and say, yo, listen, this is a example of what I want to be. But it's creating a legacy. People pay to see people when they at their best. People, just like you said, Michael Jordan, the LeBron James, the Golden State Warriors. Go look up the tickets. Whenever town you in, go look up how much the tickets is when the Warriors come. Because people want to see that. People pay to see people at their peak. People pay to see people at mastery. Go look at Tony Robbins or go look at E.T. People pay to see you performing at your best. So creating a legacy is, one thing I can say, being the best and being the best at what you do. We talk about the finances. You put yourself in the top 20%, the top 1% when you become a master at whatever it is that you're doing. Why would I want to master what I'm doing? Because I'm sure you like money, you want to be able to provide for your family, you want to, give, you want to be a philanthropist, you want to help people, you want to build a house, you want to do whatever you want to do. Becoming a master at whatever it is that you want to do would put you on a fast track to financial freedom by becoming a master. And it's huge financial benefits to being a master. Look at the people who I just named, the people we talking about. These are some of the top earners. When we talk about mastery, you become a top earner, and it gives you purpose and a direction. It puts you in a situation where you know where you're going, right? It's a clear vision, and it's a great tool, man. It's a great tool, and it puts you in a position where you know exactly what you're doing. You don't waste time. You're not playing around. You focus on where you need to go. So, and that's what we want to do. Who wants to waste time? Who wants to live and not know what's going on? So, and
it's funny because everything ties into everything, right?
Everything ties into everything.
Yeah, in the great book, right? In religion, and it says that at the end of your life, God is going to ask you, "What have you done?" That's. And Les Brown had a YouTube video where he said the line between your birth date and your death date. What have you done within that line? That's why you need to study mastery. That's why you need to become a master at whatever talent that God has given you. Because if you didn't do anything in between that line, however long it may be, then you just wasted that talent.
Yeah, and another thing that Les Brown says that you just reminded me of is, where the most richest place in the world where all the talent is? Do you know?
Where?
It's in the graveyard. Many people die with great music inside them. So many people die, or so many people leave this earth, and they die with so much inside of them. So becoming a master at what you do is like we said, creating a legacy. Yeah. When you want God to say, "Listen, well done," when you get to that, when it's Judgment Day and all of that. So creating a legacy, I think that this is one of the hugest points of becoming a master. Everybody wants to create a legacy. If it's not for the whole world, then it's for your family, it's for your children, it's for the people you mentor. So I think that this is going to be a great topic for us to continue to go over. And
I think mastery is going to be a great series for us because, like I said, we're going to break it down to the 4 different keys.
And it might change. You know, we might say, hey, we got another key, or we're gonna go over this. But mastery is what we're doing, and we very excited, man. And we happy that, you know, we finally got to get together and do this. And you know, like I said, for ourselves and for others, to just spark success and change in your life, you know. And you know, a lot of people may not even know that mastery was a word. So now you might go Google it, and you know, you can do your own mastery research as well. That's what we're doing it for, just to spark something and continue to push forward. So
at the end of the day, I think mastery is the art or process of learning to master anything. Whatever talent that you have, that you and only you could be great at, that's what you need to master. And mastery is that journey, man. It's not going to be easy, because if it was easy, anybody
would be doing it. So
take this journey with us, you know, at Spark Chronicles. Let us know what you need help with, because we need help, you know. This is a community thing. We're trying to elevate together. So
level up with us.
Level up. Once again, this is Joe Montuma.
Troy Escarpetta with the Spark Chronicles, episode 1.
Hey.
You are now listening to the Spark Chronicles.